إن الحمد لله نحمده ونشكره نؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In the name of Allah, most beneficent, most merciful, we bear witness that there is no one that deserves to be worshipped except Almighty Allah. And we also bear witness that Prophet Muhammad is Allah's servant and messenger. May the peace and blessings of Allah continue to abide in the Holy Prophet, his companions and followers, and all the Muslims who keep to the Sunnah of the Prophet. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to keep us on this path, and whatever that will lead us astray, may He guide us against it. We are grateful to Almighty Allah who has made us Muslims, not only Muslims by name, but Muslims by practice. But most of us do not appreciate this favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Allah says, "Man yuridu Allahu an yahdiya yashrah sadrahu lil Islam." Whosoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes to guide aright, whosoever He loves, He softens his heart for Islam. And the opposite, for whosoever Allah wants to lead astray, He puts that hardness in his heart, and Islam becomes so burdensome, like somebody who is climbing a mountain, and whenever he sees anything Islamic, he frowns at it, he fights it, he attacks it. Similarly, he is somebody that Allah loves. Such a person will always support Islamic causes, and he will give his utmost towards the realization of Islamic ideals. Alhamdulillah, that it is only in Islam that humanity can find the true guidance. For guidance of humanity is not taken for granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has laid out His principles, and He has said, since He sent Adam alayhi salatu wasalam to this earth, He has said, "Ihbitu minha jami'an, fa imma yatiyannakum minni hudan, faman tabi'a hudaya, fala khawfun alayhim, wala hum yakhsarun." Allah says, all of you go down. Of sure, my signs will be coming to you, my guidance will be coming to you. Whosoever follows my guidance, they will know no grief, nor will they fall into sorrow. From this, we appreciate these bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Last week, we were discussing, or we started the discussion on the rights of the children on the fathers, on the parents, and that these rights, they are not negotiable. They are the rights as commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger. And on the day of judgment, every parent shall be asked if he has fulfilled these rights concerning his offspring. Therefore, as Muslims, we should be conscious of these rights. Because if you look at the various man-made ideologies of the world, they do not joke with their children upbringing. They dissipate their utmost in making sure that they leave their offsprings to continue whatever ideals they live for. Look at the free thinkers, or those, the Freemasonry. This is one of the agents of Zionism, and they have been manifesting in many forms. Before, they used to be regarded as the lodge, but today they are adopting some more sophisticated outlook to lead most Muslims astray. Today they are the Rotarians. The Rotarians, the Rotary International, is but one of the agents of Zionism. And what is Zionism out to achieve? It is only out to de-Islamize whoever calls himself Muslims, or to make religion to lose relevance in human society, so that the awa, the self-desires, will be dominating everywhere. And what will this fetch us? Misguidance. So these Rotarians, they also pay attention to the youth. You have the Rotaracts in the higher institutions of learning. So it is those in Rotaracts that will graduate to become Rotarians. They don't only stop at the higher institutions of learning. In the secondary schools and primary schools, you have what you call the Interact. So it is step by step. The moment you step to the primary or the secondary schools, you are being initiated gradually until you become adult. So you join this body. You see, from their outlook, they will not condemn any religion. They even say Muslims and Christians are welcome. But gradually, the higher you go in the ladder of hierarchy in the organization, there are 33 ranks in all. By the time you ascend the 33rd rank, you will have been completely de-Islamized. That religion will lose total relevance to you. And you even join the gangs of those who are fighting religion. Those who want religion to be completely banished from human life. Similarly, you have the Christians too. They're sponsoring a lot of youth activities so that their children can take after them. But if this training of the youth being championed by all these non-Islamic elements came as a result of the situation they have found themselves, The same is not the case with the Muslims. Because it is only Islam that nurtures every of its adherents, right from birth till death. Islam has taken it upon itself to train its adherents right from their birth, even starting from the birth, before even it starts even right from the point of marriage. When it says, when Rasulullah was advising the Sahaba that try and provide good mothers for your children. And how do you ensure this? It is by marrying and according to Islamic tenets, not according to what the society is dictating. Therefore, the training of the children is of paramount importance in Islam. Islam does not joke with this. And every serious Muslim should not joke with it. Because if we joke with it, we are only joking with our future. Because those who are the youths of today will definitely become the leaders of tomorrow. And when the leaders of tomorrow are not properly orientated along the Islamic ways of life, there will be problems. And these problems are manifesting presently. Little wonder you see somebody, a boy, a teenager, a son of a prominent Muslim leader, who does not feel concerned about Islam, who does not want to even identify with Islam. He does not even have he doesn't have any connection with Islam other than his name. In fact, this name at times he hides it from people. He doesn't want to identify with Islam and Muslims. So you can wonder when such individuals find themselves in positions of authorities in future. So what will you see them? How will they conduct themselves? So because the parents, they fail in their duties. And these duties are not based on human common sense, but they are the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and which He is going to ask us on the day of judgment about. Last week, we cited two of these rights of the children. The first one is pronouncing the adhan on the right ear and the iqamah on the left ear immediately after birth. The second one is giving this child an Islamic name that he will be bearing, an Islamic name that he will be addressed, an Islamic name that will always inspire him to be a service to Islam, not a liability to Islam. An Islamic name that will always motivate him to live according to the tenets of Islam. Because Rasulullah sallallahu said, "Innakum tud'awna yawm al-qiyamah bi asma'ikum wa asma'i aba'ikum fasinu asma'akum." That on the day of judgment, you will all be addressed by the names you are bearing and the names of your fathers. Therefore, make sure you bear good names. And this was where we paused last week. This week, we shall look at the case of Al-Aqiqah. Al-Aqiqah is the slaughtering of ram on the 7th day. Slaughtered 2 rams when
his daughter Fatima radiallahu anha gave birth to Hassan. And as Muslims too, we are to do this on the 7th day of the birth. But there seems to be confusion regarding the counting in Islam, the counting of the days in Islam. Because you find most Muslims doing this akiko on the 8th day. They do it on the 8th day rather than on the 7th day. Because an average Muslim does not know when a day starts in Islam. Because we have been so much influenced by the Gregorian counting. Now, as I am speaking, today is Yawmul Khamis. We are already in Yawmul Khamis. We are already on Thursday, immediately as I am speaking now. So any child that is born pressed at this moment, the akiko will take place on Yawmul Arbi'a, which is the 7th day. In Islam, 24 hours do not make a day. 24 hours do not make a day. A day starts immediately after Maghrib at sunset. Another day has started. And it ends at the Maghrib of another day. And you have the night and the day making one day in Islam. Or the counting of the night apart and the counting of the days apart. The two should not be counted together. The night hours starts at sunset, Maghrib, and ends at Al-Fajr. The day hours starts at the appearance of Al-Fajr and ends at sunset. And Rasulullah ﷺ told us, وَيُعَقُّ عَنِ الْمَوْلُودِ يَوْمُ سَابِعِهِ. And the slaughtering of the ram of the new baby shall take place on the 7th day.
We'll take that again.
A day at sunset. Now we are on Thursday as I'm speaking, not on Wednesday. And how you understand this better is when we are about to commence fasting. When do you look out for the first moon? You look for the first moon around this time to signify that yes, we shall fast tomorrow. We shall begin fasting at the appearance of Al-Fajr. That is to tell you that is signifying that a new day starts at Maghrib. And that is when you look out for the first moon. You don't look for the first moon tomorrow or during the day. It's at sunset. And in Islam, the night precedes the day. The night precedes the day. For Allah tells us in Surah Yasin, وَآيَةٌ لَهُمُ اللَّيْلِ نُسْلَقُ مِنْهُ النَّهَارَ فَإِذَا هُمْ مُظْلِمُونَ. One of our signs is the night. We strip from it the day, and then they find themselves in darkness. We strip the day from the night. Before you can strip something from something, it means that thing is already existing before you strip another thing from it. So the night precedes the day. So if a child is born now, this night, by tomorrow morning, you count the Yawm al-Awwal, the first day, which is Thursday, the first day. Yawm al-Jum'ah, the second day. Yawm al-Sabt, the third day. Yawm al-Ahad, the fourth day. Yawm al-Isnain, the fifth day. Yawm al-Sulasa, the 6th day, Yawm Arbi'ah, the 7th day. And that is the day you do the Akiko. No confusion. But when we try to introduce Western ways of counting, there will be crisis. There will be disagreement. Somebody trying to put 24 hours. Where do you get 24 hours? Did Rasulullah use the counting of your wristwatch? Because using the Gregorian counting, we are still on Wednesday right now, until 12 midnight. And whereas according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are already in Yawm Arbi'ah. Because their own calendar is 11 days more than our own calendar. Their own calendar is 11 days more than our own calendar. And this thing cannot be prefixed. It cannot be predetermined. Muslims don't rely on the calendar you see. These are man-made. All these are just attempts, which is not condemned in Islam. But we should not totally rely on it and fight ourselves because of calendar, which is man-made. Now, the coming of the moon, which we use in counting, is not determined by man. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who determines when it will appear. And a month in Islam can either be 29 or 30. It can be 29 or 30. And 29 months can come. Allah can do it. In fact, Imam Malik rahimahullah said there can be 29 days of 1 month 4 times consecutively like that. 29 this month, 29 next month. So it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that determines this. But you see, because we are not used to the Islamic counting, we always fight ourselves during the Ramadan concerning when do you start fasting or when you should stop. Had it been every one of us has been concerned himself with the counting since the end of one Ramadan till another Ramadan, there won't be argument. But most Muslims have forgotten that we have a particular counting now. It's until the coming of Ramadan, then they start to fight. The northern Muslims will take one way, the southern Muslims will take another way. We even wonder that Muslims will be starting Ramadan 5 days, different 5 days. Some people will say until we have seen it like this, we won't start fasting. Is it compulsory that everybody should see it? No. Rasulullah fasted when in fact he did not even see it. He relied on the evidence of a Muslim. He said, do you bear witness that there is no God except Allah and that I am a messenger of Allah? He said, yes. He said, okay, Bilal, go and call the adhan. Muslims should start fasting. He did not see it himself. But some Muslims will be so daft that they say, until I have seen it with my naked eyes. You say, because Allah says, Sumu li ruhiyati. Fast when you sight the moon. Say, I want to see it with my naked eyes. That's what it means. Some will not even consider the sighting of the moon. They have already sat down and said, okay, when do we start fasting? Okay, let's fix it tomorrow. Oh, no, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Let it be the after. So they will reach a consensus and they will pass the fatwa to the gullible Muslims. Say, when do we start to fast? That. One so day. So this is a problem. So, you do the akiko on the 7th day. And if you cannot afford the slaughtering of the ram on the 7th day, you can do it on the 14th. If not, on the 21st. If not, any other day, you can do the akiko. Some said until it is. They say it is still valid till the day the child becomes matured. While some said no. In fact, the child after maturity if he understands that the father did not do it for him, he can do it for himself. See? So this thing is wajib, that you should do it. And if you borrow to buy ram, it's not a sin. Because if you don't do it for your child, on Yom Al-Qiyamah, that child will not be able to, you will not be able to intercede for you. So this thing must be done. That is the third right of every child on the parents. The fourth one is the shaving of the hair on the seventh day. The shaving of the hair. And after the shaving of the hair, it should be weighed. This hair you shave should be weighed. And the silver value should be paid out as sadaqah. When Fatima gave birth to Hassan, radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed her to shave the hair and pay the silver value as sadaqah. And he said it valued dirham, 1 dirham at that time. 1 dirham. That is the counting. And the dirham, gold, is the real money in Islam. This paper money we are holding is counterfeit according to Islam. That is why when you are going to pay the zakat, what do they use? The dinar, the dirham value, not dollars, not pound sterling. The dinar you use to quantify the nisab, that is the taxable amount. So because the gold is the real money, and if you look at the Holy Quran throughout, Allah talks of the gold as the real wealth. But now we spend paper money, which is counterfeit. So Rasulullah instructed that this hair should be shaved. You don't preserve it, so your child does not become Rastafarian. And you know, in some parts of the world, they worship this kind of hair. They worship it. They divide it. They divide this kind of hair. And it is Shaitan that has beautified this act to them. Rasulullah said, remove this dirt. Remove it from the child. Shave it. So that the child now grows a new hair. The one that comes with the bath is filth. It's filth. It should be removed. Don't say, because some Muslims today who are already well intoxicated, they want to fight. They don't shave the hair. Don't shave it. Leave it so that we can take picture with it. What picture? Shave it. Take photograph with it. With filth. Even as a Muslim, you should shave your pubic hair. You should not spend beyond 40 days and 40 nights in your body. If it goes beyond 40 days and 40 nights, you are going about with filth. Al-Hada. Your armpit, the hair of your armpit, the hair in your private part, all these extraneous superfluous hair in your body should be removed. 40 days, 40 nights. Remove them. But you leave your beard. But the first victim is the beard. You shave it completely. And we are supposed to preserve it. But that's the first victim. The moustache should be trimmed. But that one, we leave it. But the beard, every Friday. This is not the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said you should differentiate yourself from the Ahlul Kitab. It is for them to leave the moustache and shave the beard. You do the opposite. they take left, you take right. Because Allah's cause is on them. And it's in one sort, man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum. If you imitate some people, you are one of them. Because when you say ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin, you are referring to these people. We are begging Allah to guide us to the path on those He has shown His favor, not the path of those that He has caused, nor the path of those who have gone astray. You see now? So this is Islam. So the hair should be shaved and the silver value should be paid out at sadaqah. That is the fourth right of the child on the father or the parents. The fifth one is ikhtiyarul mardi. That is the selection of the woman that will breastfeed the child. Ideally, it is the mother that should breastfeed the child. But when there is any reason that may make this not possible, said that you should look for a good nurse, a Muslim, not just any Tom, Dick and Harry. Should be a Muslim. Islam so much encourages breastfeeding. You don't give your babies the cow milk to suck, and you are denying them their rights by not breastfeeding them. And alhamdulillah, the truth of Allah will always prevail. Last year, the World Health Organization launched the campaign that breastfeeding is the best feeding formula for your children. They have discovered a lot of benefits in breastfeeding. Apart from the fact that it promotes affection between the child and the mother, it also serves as immunity for that child. And there is nothing, wallahi, there is nothing you can give to that baby better than the breast of our mother. Because the moment a woman conceives, the milk will start to be produced. So that by the time the child comes to this world, Allah has removed the problem of what will this child eat, what will he live on from you. So you will not talk of family planning. The first food, the food that this child can live on, can live on for at least the next 2 years of his existence, Allah provided it in the mother. And it's so wonderful that the more the child sucks the mother's breast, the more it secretes. See now, all the mother needs is to eat very well. The more the child is suckling the breast, the more it secretes. And when you look at the growth of those children that are fed on the mother's breast, the mother's milk, they are stronger, healthier than those that were fed on the cow milk. And when you look at them at maturity, you can see their mental, their intelligence quotients will be very different. You see, all these are the benefits that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in the mother's breast. So that when you are to, if for any reason, maybe medical reason, the mother could not do this, Islam says you should look for a woman who is a Muslim to do this for you. Because if you go and give your child to a kafir, as some of us are doing today, those of us who have working mothers, so they take the child to the nanny, and most of the time these nannies are Christians who do not know as haram, what you know as haram. And from this haram, they will be feeding your child. And Rasulullah said, anybody, any flesh you nurture on haram, it is fire that Allah will use to extract it on Yawm al-Qiyamah. So, those things you see, you consider as haram, they don't consider it as haram. So they want to feed your child on haram. So we should be very careful. And we should encourage breastfeeding for our babies. We should enlighten. In fact, you don't even need to quote the Quran. Take your medical advice. They will tell you that there are many benefits in breastfeeding than cow feeding, feeding on the cow something. And Allah is saying that وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضَعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يُتِمَّ رَضَاعَهُ. The mothers shall suckle their children for 2 years completely. For those who want to complete the full period. The maximum is 2 years. See? And another thing that breastfeeding does is that by the time the woman is breastfeeding the child, she hardly conceives. The percentage that she will conceive is very, very low. Most of them do not even menstruate at this period. Allah has used that as another check, so that it brings about the correct child spacing, if you want to call it that way. Child spacing, another child spacing mechanism, which you can do. So it's not a matter of you go and allowing your wife to be living on the pills or to be injected. All these things, they are very dangerous to the body, and they always come to have some side effects later on. A brother is yet to recover from the evils of this thing. You know, in his time of ignorance, you know, things were so hard for him, so he just took the wife to the family planning house. They injected the wife so that she could not conceive. Now, by the time they were ready to have a child, they took the woman back to go and give her another injection to reverse the situation. They did it. Since then, no conception. They are badly in need of child now. And he is suffering from what he has done in time of Jahili, in his ignorance now. Suffering it now. Going from one hospital to another, doing this test, this X-ray, this scan, this, that. Because all these devices, those people who did it, they have no spiritual guidance. And their own intention is to spread sexual promiscuity, sexual freedom, sex without liability, so that every individual will be taught the art of engaging in sexual intercourse without not caring for what comes out of it. And when you go to buy all these contraceptive devices, there is nothing like age discrimination. A 10-year-old boy can go to the chemist and buy condom. They will sell it to him. There is no moral persuasion. There is no age discrimination. Just bring your money. Very cheap. Americans just pour this thing. They flushed our country with it. Even if you go for your NYC, they are waiting for you there at the registration camp. Have it free, so you can destroy your lives. Take it and destroy your lives. In fact, you find that you can't even afford Panadol, but you can be able to afford condom. Very cheap. And there's hardly a chemist that you don't find it. It's available in every chemist. And you see, they are made in USA so that to destroy your lives. So Muslims should fight against this thing. We should discourage it. Because these people you see, they don't believe that it's Allah has any control in their lives. They don't believe Allah is the sustainer. They don't believe He's the provider. They think they are providing for themselves. But we believe that Allah is our provider. Not what you do, not the work you do that is sustaining you and your family. Because at times when you want to calculate how much you spend in a month, you just wonder how has the sustenance come about. You want to wonder, have I spent this much this month? But where you put that money, you cannot see. You cannot say this is where I put the money. Allah does this thing miraculously. Because Allah has told us, and His words are the truth, that وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. There is no mortal on this earth, but the sustenance lies with Allah. And when somebody dies, that means he has exhausted his whole sustenance. You cannot live to enjoy the sustenance of another person. And the sustenance of the father is quite different from that of the son. It's not that because he's my son, I will sustain him. No, not you. Allah can take your life and your child will survive, with or without you. So the sustenance is determined by Allah, is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is our belief. And we don't fear poverty. You see? For Allah says, الشيطان يعيدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء. It is shaitan that introduces the fear of poverty in you. You fear poverty. You fear what will become of you tomorrow. And wallahi, before you came to this world, everything about your life has already been decreed. So why are you fearing? For what will be, will be. And you cannot frustrate Allah's plan on you. You cannot frustrate Allah's plan on you. Allah has a plan for every individual. Allah has a plan for every individual. Whether you like it or not, Allah's plan will take effect on you. You can't help it. It is not because you are so hardworking, you are very industrious, you are very energetic, you can work 24 hours in a day, and that one will determine you, will make you to have more than what Allah has made your share. No. You won't have more than what He has decreed for you. And you cannot be so sluggish, lazy, not caring, and then that will now make Allah to reduce what He has already decreed for you. No way. It will still be what He has determined for you. This is the belief of a Muslim, that he fears nothing but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that will not say, because I don't want responsibility, I don't want too many children, so how will I take care of them? This is a foolish talk. The talk of somebody who does not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Rasulullah sallallahu has told us, tazawwaju wa tawalladu fa inni muqatir bikum yawm al-qiyamah. Marry wives and bear children, for on the day of judgment I will be proud of you. I will use you to be proud among the prophets of Allah that my ummah is the largest, and the largest occupant of Al-Jannah shall come from this ummah. In fact, Nabi said about 2/3 of the inmates of Al-Jannah shall come from this ummah, because we are the largest. We are the last, but we shall be the foremost on Yawm al-Qiyamah. That's the promise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the issue of fear of poverty does not arise in the life of a Muslim. But when you bear those children, these duties these rights we have been mentioning, they automatically fall on you. So we are talking of the breastfeeding, which is the 5th right of the children. The 6th one is an-nafaqah. An-nafaqah is maintenance, sustenance, feeding, clothing, sheltering, taking care of all the needs of the children. It's a right which, if you do it, Allah Ta'ala will reward you. It is not, normally you want to say, well, it's my child, I'm feeding him because it's my child. No, Islam does not consider it like that. It's your child, but you are feeding him, you'll be rewarded for it. Every kobo you spend on your child is an act of charity that Allah will reward you for. But at times we make some mistakes. Some of us tend to prefer male child for female child. If we don't say it, but it's there in the mentality that we want to prefer male to female. See? So that when some people, when they see my wife has delivered, male or female, say if he says female, oh, your wife has defeated you this time around. As if it is the wife that determines the sex of the child. So when he says males, they say, oh, congratulations. See now, they will be happy. You see, this is the Jahili trait. Like the Jahili of the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When their wife delivers female, the man will become he will frown his face. He will frown his face, and he will be hiding his face so that they don't come and greet him. He doesn't want to be seen because he considers it as a shame. So what they do instead, they go and bury the daughter alive, the female child alive. No pity, no mercy. They bury it alive. But in Islam, if Allah has given you female, it's a special favor. Rasulullah sallallahu said, "Al-yaddu al-ulya khayrun min al-yaddi as-sufla. Wabda biman ta'ul." The hand that gives is better than the one that receives. And start from your dependents. See, it's a very, very important hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That we should all cultivate the act of giving, not receiving. Because the hand that gives is better, is more blessed than the one that receives. And they say, start from your dependents. Now this Rasulullah said, "Nafaqatu ahadikum ila alihi sadaqah." Your spending on members of your family is an act of charity. You'll be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they say, "Kafa bil mar'i ithman an yudayya man yakut." It is enough a sin for a man to lead astray those that are his dependents. And Rasulullah said, "Inna Allah sahilun kulla rahin am mustar'ahu hafiza am dayya hatta yushala ar-rajula an ahli bayti." On that day, Allah will ask every head of a family according to how he has directed his shepherds. Does he preserve them or he loses them? They even ask him about his family, how he has taken care of them. Rasulullah said, "Man ala jariyatayn hatta tabluga jaha yawm al-qiyamati ana wa huwa wa damma sabi'ahu." He said, whoever can train two females, daughters or sisters, he trains them He feeds them, he gives them good upbringing. Rasulullah said, myself and him shall be like this in Al-Jannah. Like these two fingers. You know these two fingers, they don't separate. Two females. He trains them, takes care of them, good education, good training, till they marry. So, myself and that person shall be like this on the day of judgment in Al-Jannah. And one day, a woman came to Aisha radiallahu anha begging, and this woman had two female children. So the children were crying. So Aisha had nothing to give but just a date, tamar. So she gave it to this woman. You see, this woman was so soft-hearted, so merciful that she shared this one single date with her two children. Why she took nothing? So when Rasulullah came, Aisha reported these incidents to him. And Rasulullah said, "Man ibtuliya min hadhihi al-banat bi shay'in fa ahsana ilayhinna kunna lahu sitran min an-nar." So whosoever Allah has tried with two females like this woman, and at the same time this trial does not make her to go and seek for money in an unlawful manner, but she still persevere and give them good training, these two children will serve as a barrier between her and hellfire. They will serve as barrier. So you can see now, some of us who prefer male. So whatever Allah gives you, you take it. And you say Alhamdulillah. Look at the wife of Imran. Imran is the father of Maryam, the mother of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. See, the idea, the thought of the man was, he wanted a male child that will continue the religion, that he can take to the synagogue to be worshipping Allah. So when the wife became pregnant, he was expecting a male child, but Allah gave the woman female, but not just ordinary female, a siddiqah. They even call her waliya, because sustenance was coming to her from where he could not expect, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Zakaria will meet her, he will ask her, how have you come about this food? He said, from Allah. This is what made Zakaria to beg Allah, Rabbi habli min ladunka dhurriyatan tayyiba innaka anta sami'ud du'a. Oh Allah, give me such a good child, a righteous child like this. So Allah gave him Yahya alayhi salatu wassalam. So taking care, feeding the children is very, very important, and we should try as much as possible to make sure we feed our children from lawful food, not from haram. Because when they grow up on haram food, they will end up misbehaving. So make sure you hand your livelihood from a very lawful source, not from cheating, not from defrauding, not from 419, not from bribery and all the rubbish. It's very, very important. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to provide for us and our family. أقول قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم. Of the meat, the sharing formula of the hadhiyah. You know the meat you slaughter during the Eid al-Adha, it will follow the same pattern. You share it into three. You divide it into three. One by you, one by the neighbors, another the remaining 1/3 by the needy, the poor. You feed them from it. The sharing of the meat of the akiko, the naming ceremony, the meat, the animal you slaughter, he is asking, how do you share it? And I said the sharing will follow the formula prescribed for the had here. And it should be divided into 3. 1/3 taken by you, 1/3 by the needy, 1/3 by the poor. I mean by the neighbors. I mean, though, you know, when you go to some of the goldsmiths, they look at you with the kind of, what is this malam doing with the hair of a newborn baby? so what you do at times, so they don't have the right scale to do this thing. So what we do is just to find just amount, say 150 naira. Just look at your pockets, so you give out 150 naira as sadaqah for the needy.
Those of us who are
Before it, even if you have married your wife in Jahiliyyah and you now come to Islam, you don't need to do another marriage. You have got in Jahiliyyah, carry it on in Islam. You don't need to go and throw it away. Islam overlooks that.
again, for example,
If it's your genuine brother, he will not wait. It's hypothetical. It's not true. You see, if it's a Muslim brother in Islam, and he has come for a favor that you are in a position to give, you give it out without, expecting something. Because if
you didn't expect it, but I felt like
you fall into an error,
no, according to the hadith and the Quran, where I expect
to perform certain function, and for the performance of that function, a salary or a remuneration has been agreed between him and his employer. He's not supposed to take anything above that. If he takes it, he should inform his employer. If the employer says take it, it is his own. If the employer has not given permission to take it, you have taken more than you agreed. You understand? So there's nothing wrong if we give ourselves gifts, but we should try to avoid the situation that you use this gift to serve as inducement. You understand? And you who is giving that gift, don't do it in a way that you are telling the person that, look, I need to be motivated. So, you understand? Do it, and not with the intent of Allah haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. That all you who believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as he ought to be feared, and do not allow death to catch you unawares. Do not die except in the state of Islam. That means whosoever comes to Almighty Allah other than the state of Islam, no matter how righteous he was in the world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not show his mercy on such a person. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said unequivocally, Inna dina inda Allahi al-Islam. Inna dina inda Allahi al-Islam. The only religion acceptable to Allah, the only religion in the sight of Allah is Islam. There is nothing that Allah will accept. And he repeats this in Surah Al Imran verse 85. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. That whosoever seeks after any other religion other than this Islam, it shall not be accepted from him, and he will be among the losers on the day of judgment. So the criterion between the successful ones and the unsuccessful ones before Allah is religion. Only the believers, the Muslims, are the successful ones. Non-Muslims, they are unsuccessful. For Allah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. It is only the believers that will succeed. So,
let any other person, let him do any righteous deeds, let him strive, let him spend his energy, his money, his life on any other way of life other than Islam. He will come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a state of loss. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept his deed. The major criterion for the acceptance of a deed is Iman. Allah says, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِنَ الصَّالِحَاتِ وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَلَا كُفْرَانَ لِسَعْيِهِ وَإِنَّا لَهُ كَاتِبُونَ. Whoever does any righteous deed and is a believer, that's the condition, and is a believer, فَلَا كُفْرَانَ لِسَعْيِهِ, we shall not render waste his effort. وَإِنَّا لَهُ كَاتِبُونَ, we shall write it down for him. See? So let him do anything, any righteous deed. Once he is lacking in Iman, Allah will not accept it. Once he is lacking in Iman, Imanu billahi wa rasuli, faith in Allah and His Prophet. If he has faith in any other thing, Allah has no need of his work. If he has faith in Jesus, that Jesus has come to die for his sin, and that is why he's doing everything he's doing, Allah has no need of his work. So, that is it. Now, in the last week lecture, the topic of discussion has been, for the past 2 weeks, on the rights of the children on the parents. And these rights, we have often reiterated, are based on the Quran and the Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it behoves every parent to be conscious of these rights, so that on the day of judgment, he can be among those whose deeds will be accepted, and his children, so that the children Allah has given him will not serve as a cause of his doom on the day of judgment. Because there are some that it is as a result of their children that they will earn the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they fail on the responsibilities Allah has imposed on them. We have mentioned 6 of these rights of the children. The first of which is pronouncement of the adhan on the right ear and the iqamah on the left ear immediately after birth. Secondly, at-tasmiyah bismi Hasan, giving this child a good Islamic name. Thirdly, al-aqiqah, the slaughtering of ram on the 7th day of birth. 4, halku sha'r al-walid, shaving of the hair of the child on the 7th day. 5, breastfeeding of this baby. 6, an-nafaqah, sustaining this child, maintaining him and meeting all his needs in this world. Now, the 7th, which we are going to discuss today, is at-tarbiyah wa ta'alim. At-tarbiyah wa ta'alim. At-tarbiyah means training of this child and educating him. It is your right to give him good upbringing, because the kind of upbringing you give your child will determine the kind of life he's going to be, he's going to live. And Allah says in the Quran, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara wa qudu an-nas wal hijara." Oh, you who believe, save yourself and your family from the fire, whose fuel are men and stones. Save your life. Not only your life, but your family. From that fire, whose fuel shall be men, jinns and stones. You know, Rasulullah sallallahu, who was the direct recipient of this verse, despite his position, you know, despite his position before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will call Fatima, his daughter. Fatima, do you have any need of me today? Ask me anything you want now. For on that day, you will not benefit from my being a prophet of Allah. See, if you have anything you want to ask me now. Because on that day, you won't have special privilege. Oh, I is the daughter of the beloved of Allah. No. Because on that day, وَأَنْ لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَى مَسَعَهُ. Nobody will earn except what he has striving for. وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. Everybody shall behold his deeds. ثُمَّ يُجْزَاهُ لِجَزَاهَ الْأَوْفَى. And he will be rewarded accordingly. Appropriate reward he will have. So you will not be given any special privilege by virtue of the piety of your family relation. Everybody shall come to Almighty Allah individually. That's what we call individual responsibility. Individual responsibility. Allah describes that day further. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ يُغْنِيهِ. It is a day يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. Man shall flee from his brother. Your brother, your blood brother. You see him, you flee, you run away. وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ. His mother and his father. So when there is problem in this world, when the life of your mother or your father is in danger, you can decide to save them. You can even at times decide to die for them. But on that day, the opposite will be the case. Each of you will flee from the other. The father will see the son coming, he will try to dodge him. Why? Because he will be preoccupied with his own body. His own concern that day is nafsi, nafsi, nafsi. My soul, my soul, my soul. Even Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, who is the imam al-nas, imam of mankind. All the prophets of Allah, they will be saying, Ya nafsi, Ya nafsi, Ya nafsi, my soul, my soul, my soul. Except Rasulullah sallallahu, who will be saying, Ya qawmi, Ya qawmi, Ya qawmi, my community, my people. So it is that day, it is that punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us from. Therefore, Allah Rasulullah said, Kullukum ra'i wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati. All of you are shepherds, and you will be asked to give account as how you have directed your shepherd. You see, we do certain things, nobody to question us. But every decision you take, Allah will question you. It is only Allah that is not questionable. You can't question Allah. But you will be questioned. How do you treat your wife? How do you treat your children? Allah will question you. So, giving these children a good Islamic training is wajib. incumbent on every parent. It's not a matter of, well, how I like it. And it is not that you give them Western education or Western oriented education alone. It's good for them to know the Western ways of life so that they can be on their guards against any unbecoming influence in their life. Because Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu said, a Muslim who does not understand the ways of life of Jahiliyyah will end up destroying Islam. You see, a Muslim who does not have the knowledge of Jahiliyyah will end up to destroy Islam. I know that statement is very weighty. You should look at it. Because he was trying to comment on the same of Rasulullah that when you learn the language of a people, you are free of their deceit. When you learn their language, you know their language, then you are free. They can't deceive you again. So he will tell some of the Sahabas to go and master the languages of the non-Muslims. He told Zayd bin Thabit to learn the language of the Syrians then. And he mastered it for 17 days. So all the Sahabas too that he sends to the non-Arab countries, they master their language, and then when there is any delegation, one of the Sahaba will serve as the interpreter between him and them. So we should be on our guards while we still pursue this Western oriented education. Because one thing we must know is this: the Western civilization has its origin from the Greek civilization, which is non-Islamic, which is materialistic in orientation. It is materialistic in orientation. And a Muslim is not a materialist. But he has a tendency to be materialistic to an extent. Neither is he a spiritualist to the core. He is a balance between the two. A Muslim brings about a balance between spiritualism and materialism. Because though they say comfort, excessive comfort corrupts, but every man needs an appreciable level of comfort, but not to an excess. So he must always strike a balance between the two extremes. So it's our duty, because when the children are under our care and they commit a crime forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the parents will share in the punishment in Yawm al-Qiyamah. When you are alive and you don't care, your children fall into those sins that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden, then you will share in the blame on Yawm al-Qiyamah. See? And the parents should first of all endeavor to train their children of who is Allah and who is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what is the Quran and what is Yawm al-Qiyamah. It is your duty to endeavor to make them know this, so that they can believe in it. And it is your duty to inculcate in them the love and the reference of the Islamic Sharia, so that your children will not grow up to condemn the Sharia. There are some children of Muslims who, because of their ignorance, they will come to condemn the Sharia, that it is archaic. And maybe the father is a great scholar of Islam. You see? And the enemy of Islam will refer to that. So that they can have respect for the Sharia. And they will always defend it anywhere they find themselves. And not only that, they should also have respect for Islam, for the Islamic rituals, for the Islamic education. It is also your duty to teach them purification generally. Purification from major impurity as well as minor impurity. And it is your duty to teach them how to perform al-wudu, ablution, how to observe the salat, and you should do this when you should be very serious with this when they are 7 years old. But when they are 10, if they don't observe their salat, Rasulullah ﷺ said you should beat them for this. So you see the Sahaba, after they finish the salat in the mosque of Rasulullah ﷺ, they will go home and lead their families to teach their children and their wives how to observe the salat. They will create time for this. They will create time. Whatever they had from Rasulullah ﷺ, they will come back to their houses, teach their wives and their children. They will not say, I am very busy, I don't have time. They will just create that time out of no time, because they know that if I am lacking or I am negligent in this, it may affect my hereafter. Because if the parents are not serious Islamically and they don't show this they don't demonstrate their Islam to the children, such parents will not enjoy the children when they grow old. Because the children will not even know the position of the parents when they get old. But when you have nurtured them with all this in their teenage age, what will happen is, when they grow old, they will know it. And when you even die, they will even be referring to you in the presence of their own children. So surah I was taught by my father. My father taught me this, taught me this, taught me that. My mother taught me this, taught me this, taught me that. So that they will be proud of you. And their hearts will be praying for you, wherever you are. And 3 things, after the death of a man, only 3 things can still accrue to his deed, to his record. In the grave. 1, sadaqatun jariyah, a flowing charity. An act of charity you have done. And even after your death, people are still benefiting from it. You will be handing the reward in your grave. Secondly, aw ilmin yuntafa'u bihi, a beneficial knowledge you have bequeathed to people. Thirdly, a righteous son praying for you. You see, a righteous son praying for the father or the mother in the grave. Say, Rabbi rahamhu or Rabbi rahamhuma kama rabbayani sagira. My Lord, show mercy on them both as they treated me, as they cared for me in my infancy. So, such prayer will automatically be meeting you in the grave. So whatever you are doing to teach your children today, you are indirectly preparing a better place for yourself in the grave and even in the hereafter. So Rasulullah said, Murru awladakum bisalat wahum abna'u sab'a sinin wadribuhum alayha wahum abna'u ashr wa farriqu baynahum fil madaji'. Enjoin your children to pray, to observe salat when they are 7 years old, and beat them if they don't do this when they are 10, and separate them in their beddings. Separate their beddings when they reach the age of 10. They should not be sleeping together. So, every father or every parent, when he comes back from office or from work, he should call his children. Did you observe your salat? What time did you observe it? Did you observe your salat? What time did you observe it? Even your wife too. It's your duty to ask them if they have observed and what time. Those that observe their salat at the time, you may compensate them. Those who did not observe it to time, you will rebuke them. So they can know that delaying or being negligent in observance of the salat is a crime. It's a crime not tolerable by Islam. So it's a duty. You don't overlook it. You just call them, have you observed your salat? Yes. You must ask for that. And you must have so taught them that they will not tell you lie. You must have inculcated the love for truthfulness in their lives. That even if they commit any sin, they will confess to you. Why? Because you have demonstrated the love for truthfulness before them, so that they too will never tell you lie. It's not an idea whereby you are at home and somebody is asking for you, go and tell him I'm not at home. See? You are teaching the child how to tell lies. That daddy can be at home at times and he will say he's not at home. So if the child does the same thing in future, you have demonstrated that to him. See? So you must always be conscious of what you say, what you do in the presence of your children. And it is also important that all those things that are enjoined by Islam, like what to eat, what we ought not to eat, and the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want them concerning it. You see, that's why it's something that you always hold. Islamic get together in your house, maybe once in a week. Islamic get together, which you are to preside over. You do the tafsir as you have understood it. You ask for questions from them, and like this. So this is how you create an Islamic atmosphere in your own family. See? One day, a young boy was eating with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the boy was eating, just anyhow. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ya gulam, oh little boy, Samillaha ta'ala. Before you start to eat, begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See? Wakul biyaminik. Eat with your right hand. Wakul mimma yalik. Eat what is before you. Don't be putting your hand everywhere in the plate. Eat what is available in your side. See, don't eat from the center of the plate, because the blessing is descending on the center, and every partaker in the meal will be sharing. Not that you will be eating everywhere. Eat your own part. See, and the Sahaba said, I never ceased observing this directive of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam till I died. Another time, Hassan, the son of Ali, radiallahu anhu, ate a date from the sadaqah that was brought to the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Rasulullah saw this, he said, Kah, stop that. And he grabbed it from the boy and threw it away. He said, don't you know the family of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam does not eat charity sadaqah? If it is hibba, that is gift, they can afford to eat. But sadaqah, Ahlul Bayt don't eat sadaqah. So the lesson from that is, we should enable to teach our children to eat only what is lawful and forbid them from eating what is unlawful. Only what is lawful. Because if they had eaten if the boy had eaten that, it will have the attitude put up by Rasulullah sallallahu in the past. There was written that his family will not share in the sadaqah. Because if the Rasulullah was used to eating charity, then after his demise, people out of excessive love will now be bringing their charity to the family of Rasulullah sallallahu, while they will be neglecting other needy Muslims. But he made it forbidden for himself, so that he may not be accused of exploiting the Muslims, using his own position to exploit the Muslims. So he did that, he implemented that to the letter. Even when the little boy had even put some in his mouth, he made sure he permitted it. So it is important that this Islamic training should be gradual. It should be step by step. You start with the compulsory aspects, then to the voluntary aspects. And maybe at times you train them through storytelling. Through storytelling. By narrating stories of who is Allah, the Prophet, the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu, all these will be having a great impact in their life. And it is also important that the children be enabled to learn the current trend in education of their time. So let them learn, let them go to school. You understand? It is not only when you allow them to go to only Arabic school. Let them go to the conventional schools and learn whatever is available there, whatever is Islamic. And whatever they learn, when they come back from school, it is on you as a Muslim to make sure that it is in line with Islam. Not that you don't care what they are taught in school. You should care. You should ask them. And when you notice anything unbecoming, you should follow them to the school and complain. You wonder in some of the schools, there are no IRK teachers. And they force the children to go and read Bible knowledge. They go and read BK. Before the father will have known it, the son or the child will have been, gone very far in Bible knowledge. But if you don't care, you won't know this. It's only if you care. And once you notice this, it is for you to go to the school and warn the teacher. See, that is why it's important that Muslims too should have their own schools where Western education is taught with the Islamic education. We should have it. But you see around, the Christians are investing a lot, greatly, on this. And they know, they used to say, we know you have more children. Keep on bearing these children, and we shall be training them for you. See? Keep on bearing children. Because they know they can't match us numerically. They know we can marry up to 4 women at a time. And because of this, we have more children than they have. But where they have waited for us is, well, education, we shall see. So it was a grand plan that will make sure we train your children for you. So that by the time they grow up, they become skeptical about Islam. And you see, Western education is a little bit more permissive for Christian orientation. So all over the places, the best school around, they own it. The best schools around, they own it. So if they know if you Muslims, you want the best education, you have to end up in the hands of the Christians. So because of what? Because of our own negligence. Because you can have private schools. Nobody is stopping you not to have private schools. But when the Muslims are not paying attention to this, so the Christians are exploiting our weakness in that, and to their advantage. And in some places too, the majority of the teachers, of the staffs are Christians. So if you go to the assembly in the morning, they have to read Our Father who art in heaven. At times they force them to buy songs of praise. So by the time the father, you're reading Surah Al-Fatiha, your son or your daughter in the school is reading song of praise, Our Father who art in heaven. Whereas you his father, you are in the office. He's saying your father is in the heaven. See? So this thing is happening everywhere. So it is the Muslims should wake up to this. We have the money. The problem is the willpower. The willpower that we need this thing and we must have it. So also in the health sector, we are nowhere. We are nowhere. And it's not that we don't have the means. We have the means. But the willpower to effect this is lacking in us. So everybody say, well, it's not my own business. It's everybody's responsibility. And mind you, everybody's responsibility is nobody's responsibility. If we all say we are all concerned, but who are we to blame for negligence? Well, everybody says, well, I'm just one of the Muslims. So nobody is ready to bail the cat. Nobody is ready to champion this good cause. You see? So what all these things we are doing, we must know that we are not doing for ourselves, but for our future generation. Those that will take up after we might have left. And it's very important that we care for this. So, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, he was writing to the Muslim governors that, first of all, teach your children the art of throwing, targeting. Let them be physically fit. Let them be able to swim. And Hajjaj was telling the teacher of his son that, look, teach my children how to swim before you teach them how to write. Because in future, their life may be in danger. They can have somebody to write for them. But when they have to swim, who is going to swim for them? They have to swim by themselves. So teach them how to swim first, before you teach them how to write. When it's time for writing, they can assign somebody to write for them. When it's time for swimming, when the life is at risk, then nobody is going to swim for them. So they must be physically fit. Because Islam encourages us to have the three basic education. Basic fitness. Should be intellectually sound, physically fit, and spiritually balanced. So when you take to all these three things, then you have a very good Islamic personality. So, as you are doing this, you must always also pay attention to the companions, the groups within which your children are moving. You must pay attention to this. That is why the children of the Muslims should be friends. And when you see them moving around to a Christian, you must try to be careful. You know, the Christians who have also waited for us in that. See, their children, they so train them in the heart of evangelization that they particularly pay attention to the children of the prominent Muslims to befriend them so as to be inviting them to Jesus. So, but if you as a father, you don't care about their companions, the friends, the circle in which they move, what will happen? They will end up being converted to Christianity. or you see them being skeptical about Islam. So you should, part of the training is that you'll be take care of, you'll be conscious of who they are moving with. If you notice that the friend they are moving with is not a Muslim, you have to separate them, and you let them know why. Now, when it comes to the daughters, to the female children, it has its own way. You must train your children, your daughters, to avoid attending areas where there is premixing of the two sexes. You must create that sense of shame and modesty in them. You must let them know they are Muslims. And the Islamic mode of dressing, let it be part of them when they are still in their infancy. So their mother should teach them how to dress Islamically. They should start right from home. Let them be used to the hijab before they become matured. So that by the time they become matured, it automatically is part of their lives. Not that you the mother will be dressing in hijab and your child is wearing miniskirt. You allow her to be wearing miniskirt. Tell me. And then when she's already matured, you now want to tell her to dress Islamically? She won't. She won't. Because if you know it's good, you have, because when they go out, they see all these kinds of dressing. This satanic way of dressing abound. So they get influenced. So it is the hijab you must emphasize. It is the hijab you emphasize for them to be wearing. And three things, particularly, you must let them know. That is, they should avoid being in privacy with strange men, apart from their relations. They should not be in any corner or in any place where the strange men are available. They should not, because Islam forbids this, except those that are family, they are blood relations. Number two, you should teach them that they should not open or expose their nakedness, except maybe their face and their hands. All other parts will be covered whenever they are going outside. You should do this. Number three, they should be careful of how they conduct themselves in public. Like, they should be careful of the way they talk. They should not be talking, shouting outside. They should not be laughing. They should be walking modestly, Islamically, not that they will be walking like a Yankee. They should avoid this. And they should also not dress in a tight-fitting dress. They should not wear tight-fitting dress, or the dress that will expose their underwears. They should avoid wearing such dresses. Their hair should be covered. They should not expose their hair. And they should not be talking to strange men. See, all this you should inculcate in them so that they don't fall into mistakes. Because of the negligence of some of the parents, the children, they end up being abused. And if such happens, Allah will hold you responsible on the day of judgment.